Hey, what's going on guys, Grouch here, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be going over 10 character facts and trivia that you may have missed in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. As we know, when it comes to Japanese anime and manga, some series creators can really put a lot of thought into their characters, so I figured I'd point out some of the more interesting ones that surprised me. The entries on this list can range from anything from a character's origin to early concept art and influences, to just a really interesting fact that stuck out to me. Now, none of these are really meant to blow your mind because, let's be honest, everyone and their grandmothers have already covered this series to death. I really focused on looking for things that I felt not a lot of people would have originally picked up on, so hopefully even the diehard fans of the series will be able to learn something new. But before we begin, I wanted to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Kurtzpell. Kurtzpell is a third-person perspective anime-styled action battle game where players can battle in both PvP and PvE activities. Now, let me start off by saying I'm not a big gamer, and it's really difficult for me to find games that I can actually get into and want to play consistently, especially when it comes to PC games. This game was really fun, and one that I'm glad I was given the opportunity to play during the beta testing. Players start off creating their own custom character, choose a class, and then begin to take on a number of mission-based battles against massive boss monsters, who get more and more difficult the further you get into the fight. You can either choose to take these foes on yourself or team up with others, so it's something you can definitely get in on with your friends. But what I really think is going to make this game shine is its PvP. Things like Capture the Flag, Conquest, and Death Matches are all really competitive game modes, which if you don't want to get completely bodied, kind of like how I did, you're gonna want to have to experiment with all the different karmas available to you and figure out what works best for you and your teammates. I really like how the game allows you to change between two different fighting styles, which really makes for some exciting strategic battling. If you don't have a crummy computer like me, I would definitely recommend playing it on high detail to get the best experience possible. Now, this game is still under development, but it shouldn't be too much longer before it gets released to the masses. If you think this game is something you'd be interested in, be sure to check out the links in the description to learn more, and be sure to add it to your watch list over on Steam to keep up with any of the future updates. Now, with that being said, let's get on with today's video. Number 10, Yuya. One of the Sound 4 members, Yuya, is my personal favorite of the bunch. I've always just really liked her design, her attitude, and of course her unique jutsu, in which she plays a demonic flute, which allows her to not only control 3 giant summoning creatures all at once, but also cast genjutsu on her opponents. The melody is pretty unique, as you can hear. However, after her battle with Shikamaru, the flute melody actually started being used in some of the background music in the Naruto anime. One example being during Naruto and Sasuke's battle at the very end of part 1. Take a listen. Number 9, Karin. This fact is specifically related to the Naruto Storm video game series and not the anime, but even so, it was still one that surprised me. If you've ever used Karin within the games, you'll know that most of her attacks mainly consist of her punching or kicking you. However, one move is unique from all the rest, and that is one appropriately titled Perfume Spray, in which she literally pulls out a small bottle of perfume and proceeds to spray you with it. Personally, I always thought this move was kinda dumb, however it turns out it actually has a meaning behind it. Her name, Karin, is actually made up of the kanji for fragrance or perfume and phosphorus, which explains the move and why it is a simple bottle of perfume can manage to do so much damage. Well, that and the fact that it's a video game. So yeah, unless you know a bit of Japanese, I'm willing to bet that one went over your head. Number 8, Indra and Asura Otsutsuki. Recognized as the two sons of Hagoromo Otsutsuki, aka the Sage of Six Paths, these two play a rather large role in the story, being responsible for a lot of conflict that we see in Naruto. However, this conflict is actually inspired by both Hindu and Buddhist religion, where the gods led by Indra are in constant battle with the Asuras. As we know, Indra in Naruto was initially a lot more gifted than his brother Asura, but eventually turns bad due to jealousy. Well, in the religious teachings, it was actually the Asuras who were malevolent. It was instead Indra who was benevolent, so the roles were essentially reversed. Another cool fact regarding Asura specifically is their battle avatar, as they are often depicted as belligerent beings with 3 faces and 6 arms. In Naruto, this can be seen in both the Asura path of the Pain of 6 Paths, as well as Naruto's QB mode in his final battle against Sasuke. Number 7, A and Killer B. Did you ever think it was a bit weird that the Raikage's name is just A? Kind of weird, right? I mean, how many times do you actually see a character whose name is just a single letter? Well, it turns out this is a pretty common thing in the village of Kumogakure, or Village in the Clouds, whatever you want to refer to it. Let's take B for an example. We commonly refer to him as Killer B, but his actual name is just B. One of the 4th Raikage's bodyguards is named Shi, a reference to the letter C. Durari starts with a D, but technically doesn't count. But another ninja from this village who was seen fighting during the 4th Shinobi War was named F, a reference to the letter F. And finally, the 2 ninja that witnessed the defeat of B by Sasuke and his team are also named J and K. Am I just dumb, or has this been common knowledge for a long time? Because I swear I never noticed this. Number 6, Fu. While we never really got much of her character, aside from filler arcs we saw in the anime, Fu is one of my personal favorite Jinchuriki characters design-wise. However, when she was first shown in the manga, Masashi Kishimoto initially hadn't decided on whether he wanted to make her male or female, and as a result, appeared pretty gender neutral. Eventually though, the concept art for Fu in Road of Ninja Naruto the movie was released, and it became much more clear that Kishimoto had indeed decided to make Fu female, which in my opinion was a good call. Number 5, Jiraiya. One of the legendary Sannin, this great ninja went on to have a major influence in the ninja world. He first gained recognition battling alongside his former teammates Tsunade and Orochimaru, and would eventually go on to teach very powerful ninja, including Minato, aka the 4th Hokage, and of course Naruto. However, something I found really surprising is that Jiraiya's blood type is type B. What's so interesting about that, you ask? Well, Jiraiya shares this blood type with everyone I just listed. Based on what I found online, the chance of having this blood type is around 8 to 11%. So the fact that he shares this with so many people he has had a close bond with is pretty astonishing. Number 4, Katsuyu. You know, the big giant slug familiar that serves both Tsunade and Sakura. In the series, we can commonly see Katsuyu referred to as Lady Katsuyu, and in both the English and Japanese dubs, she is voiced by female voice actors. However, you may be surprised to hear that this giant slug isn't actually a lady at all. In the Japanese versions of Naruto, Katsuyu is actually only ever referred to gender-neutral pronouns, and it is only when the series was translated to English that they decided to stick the label on her to make things go a lot smoother. The original decision to do this may actually be related to slugs being naturally hermaphroditic, meaning that they could be either or, both male or female. Number 3, Mizuki. We all remember this guy. He was technically the first baddie of the series, having tricked Naruto into stealing the Forbidden Scroll for his own personal gain, and really showed us what we could come to expect from the shinobi world. But not much is known about him besides the fact that he hates Naruto, as most people did early on, as well as Arouca because, well, he tried to kill him. But there is one important detail that we do know, which was included in Naruto's first databook, and that is Mizuki's least favorite food is actually ramen, something that we all know that Naruto and Arouca really love. Number 2, Kabuto Yakushi. This one is a pretty interesting fact that I doubt many of you picked up on unless you know a bit of Japanese. Do you remember way back in part 1 when Kabuto was first introduced during the Chunin exams? Well, at the time he was teamed up with 2 other ninjas named Yodori and Tsurugi. Well, while these 2 were essentially one-shot characters and were out of the series almost as quickly as they were introduced, there's actually a fun meaning behind their 3 names when you put them all together. Kabuto is the name of a traditional samurai helmet or head plate. Likewise, Yodori's name is the traditional samurai armor, and Tsurugi is the sword. So when you put them all together, they actually form an armor, helmet, and sword trio. I never knew this in all my years of watching Naruto, but I think it's really cool regardless. It's a shame that 2 of these 3 characters never got to make it past the Chunin exams arc, as I personally wouldn't have mind seeing how Orochimaru could have used them as other spies instead of just using Kabuto all the time. Let's be honest, we all got tired of him pretty quickly. Number 1. Arouca Umino. Now, this fact really surprised me, and it's probably my favorite on this list, which is why I decided to leave it for last. So as you probably already know, every so often the Naruto manga hosted a character popularity poll where readers were able to submit their votes and decide on which characters were, well, the most popular character at the time. Something that really surprised me though, looking at the results, is the fact that Arouca has managed to remain within the top 10 across all the popularity polls except for one. In the final poll, he lost out to Hinata by 23 votes and scored 11th place. Now, do keep in mind that these polls were pretty well scattered throughout the entire Naruto manga and carried on even after the time skip. Those who have watched or read the series know that Arouca Sensei really didn't get a ton of time in the story, even in part 1, so the fact that he managed to remain within the top 10 until the end of the series is pretty impressive. What's more astonishing is the fact that had Arouca not lost to Hinata in the last poll, he could have been one of 5 other characters to have always made the top 10, the other 4 being Naruto, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Gaara, which in my opinion is even more impressive considering that most of the ones I just listed are main characters to the story. Not only that, but in the third Naruto databook, there was a results page in which tallied up the scores of all the votes of the first 6 polls, and Arouca ranked 4th place with 23,000 votes, over 2 times the votes that some of the arguably more popular characters received. No idea why people love Arouca so much, because personally, he never stood out to me as anything special, but apparently people really like him. Although you have to give him credit, he is one of the first people to ever have acknowledged Naruto. So I guess without him, I wouldn't even be making this video. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below, and if you'd be interested in seeing a part 2. I may be able to gather enough facts for another one like this, but again, it all depends on the feedback I receive. Also, if you guys know of something interesting about a character that you think could have made it into this video, share it with us in the comment below. I'm curious to see what you guys can find. If you haven't already, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I upload a future video. And again, a big thank you to Kurt's Pal for sponsoring. Be sure to check out the links in the description and add the game to your wishlist over on Steam. I really do think you guys will find it enjoyable to play when it does finally get released. That's all I have for you today. I will see you guys in my next video.